Hello everyone, my name is Sark and welcome back to another Marvel Legends Gamerverse Marvel vs. Capcom action figure review. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the 2-pack of Captain America and Venom in his nice and blue looking esque glory. Honestly, this is probably my most anticipated one out of all of them. I love this Captain America look with just the completely scaleless look, just complete spandex, and I love the blue Venom. Granted, it is an old Venom, or it's kind of like a reissue of the Venom that just kind of recently came out last year, I'm pretty sure, but that's fine. I have no issue with that. It's a blue Venom. It's like one of the only blue Venoms that you can get right now. So without further ado, let's take both of these out and see how they look. Alright, so here we have both Captain America and Venom themselves. Honestly, they both look really good, and my god, do I love this Captain America. This Captain America is my current definitive Captain America. Granted, it might not have the most range of articulation, but man, I just love this look all the way. I don't know. It's just a look that is just so beautiful to just look at. And the matte finish, or the somewhat matte finish on the actual suit itself, is just phenomenal. Very well done. Of course, the faces are not going to be completely as accurate as the actual games, which is perfectly fine. You just look at this guy and comparing it to the actual face that they use in terms of the this. This is not the same face. This is like baby face Captain America, kind of. Not really, but you get what I'm saying. Of course, Venom does actually have a little bit of a better look, although they actually did a really good job with the face itself. Again, if we're trying to base it off the sprites that they're using for promotional imaging, they did a really good job. Granted, this guy does not have the greatest paint job. As we can see right here at the face, some of the white marks in the eyes are off-center, which is not terrible, but again, just kind of wish they actually did a better job here. But hopefully it's just mine and not everyone else's, because that would honestly suck a lot. But no, yeah, these guys look phenomenal. A blue Venom was very much a, very requested figure, and now that we have one, it looks great. You could argue it's not necessarily the right color for Venom, which he should be a little bit more teal-ish, I guess, if you could argue that. But it's still a great looking Venom nonetheless. Something I wanted to mention is that we are getting a Mafex Venom that is a blue color with black shading, which is really nice looking, at least from the pictures that we saw. But I'm not gonna mention that here too much. So again, aesthetic-wise, they both look great. Articulation-wise, I'm actually going to leave Captain America for the end. This guy does have pinned legs, which is the one unfortunate thing that a lot of people caught on to when they actually revealed this guy. Don't know why they couldn't just afford the extra couple bucks to actually make them pinless. And this guy has tight joints, holy. So for the neck, he can look up actually pretty well. Realistically, that's really good for a Venom. Most of them don't actually look this far up. Now, looking down, also really good, especially with the jaw that he has. He's like the crimson chin right here. Of course, this type of thing where it's not fully blended in with the actual figure might deter some people off, which is perfectly fine. Looking side to side, he definitely can. Pivoting just a tiny bit, but not too much, which is not the worst thing ever. For the arms, he can definitely get his arms above a T-pose, which is awesome. Especially if you kind of force it a little bit. And then for the arms, you can rotate them 360 degrees. He does have butterfly joints, which do work a little bit, somewhat well. Especially if you use that shoulder joint, you can almost get him to cross his arms, which is not terrible whatsoever. He does have a bicep swivel, double jointed elbow. That looks okay. Not terrible, but also not really that good. And then a wrist hinge that goes backwards this far, and then forwards this far. It is interesting I'm going to get into it in just a minute, but it's interesting that this guy doesn't have as many accessories as he should, realistically. He does have a diaphragm cut, or like pivoting action. He can pivot to the sides, of course. The white paint is actually not good. I'm actually going to say that it's not good because you can see a lot of the blue seeping through. They definitely could have gone over it like maybe a couple more times, maybe like 2 or 3 more times to actually cover that entire area. But it's not necessarily great. Is it fully terrible? No, but could they have done better? Abso-freaking-lutely. So yeah, he has the waist joint that he can use to go forward this far. And then of course backwards this far, which is really good. Again, he can go backwards further, then he can go forward, which is always the funny part. Actually, no, they can actually do the same. So yeah. Oh, interesting. Very interesting. Okay, I actually am not sure. So already, there is damage to the figure by just bending it forward. Oh. Look at that. Now, I'm not the biggest. Like, I don't bring up the... It's not the big deal for me to break my figure. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes it's by accident. Sometimes it's on purpose. But this is just bad quality. Hasbro plastic quality kind of fails again here. So I was wondering why he could go forward so far, and it's because the plastic here is not going to hold. Interesting. So definitely a fail on Hasbro's part because that is a very thin part of the joint. Probably why a lot of people prefer the different type of waist joint where it's like upwards instead of downwards. But a lot of figures have this and they don't have this issue. So Hasbro, what's the deal? It's definitely weird. But yeah, interesting. Very, very interesting here. For the legs, now I'm a little bit afraid of just messing with the waist here. Realistically, if I wanted to customize this figure and paint it over, I definitely could hide this part, but it's always going to be an issue there with like cracking paint and all that sort of stuff. For the legs, he can barely get them to 90 degrees, which is not that good, unfortunately. Kicking forward, okay. Thigh swivel is stuck as a motherfucker, but it works. Pinned legs, pinned double jointed legs, and then a foot hinge going forward this far, and backwards this far. And of course, your pivoting action that you have with that. Unfortunate. I was really excited about this Venom, but it does have a lot of QC issues as a whole. The paint job itself, with the white not being fully, the white is transparent. It's seeping through the actual blue plastic. There's not a lot of detailing with this figure in terms of just the paint itself, the paint on the actual eyes. Unfortunate that it actually has this many QC issues. And even with the plastic on the waist joint, or the waist ab crunch, such unfortunate events right there. So now, Captain America. Hopefully, this guy's actually much better. And realistically, the last Captain America that we looked at was the Secret Wars. And that guy actually had really good articulation. But this guy does have a couple of different improvements, like the butterfly joints. So for the head, he can look up about this far, which is already really good. Downwards, also really good. Looking side to side is pretty much perfect. Pivoting, not so much. That's the only issue with this figure. Doesn't pivot on the sides. For the arms, you can definitely get him above a T-pose, of course. A little bit higher than that, than just the T-pose itself, if you actually push it. Rotating 360 degrees for the figure. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbow. That somewhat works in some instances. You are definitely going to be like restricted with your actual joints. Like about there. A little bit better than 90, but unless you want to like cut a bit of here, you're not going to get much. So, not terrible. You're not going to necessarily need much from that. He does have the butterfly joints that are actually better cuts than the Venom. They are deeper into the chest, which is not terrible. And it doesn't look that bad when you're, well, if you have him like this, yeah, it's going to look bad. But it does not look that bad, you know? But yeah, he can actually get his arms, from the looks of it, crossing with each other. That's awesome. Great. Hasbro, you're doing great things that companies have been doing for years at this point, but it's whatever. So, of course, wrist hinge going backwards this far, forwards this far. He does have an ab crunch as a whole, just for the diaphragm, or a diaphragm crunch. Not necessarily the ab crunch, because the ab crunch is this, diaphragm crunch is this. So you can go forward about this far, which is not terrible, and then backwards this far, which is also not terrible. Could have been better? Yes, absolutely. But it's whatever. Now, waist joint, he can swivel. And then for the legs, beautiful spread of legs. Perfect capturization of Captain America. Legs, a little bit better than 90 degrees right there. Thigh swivel, that works well. Something I wanted to mention is that my only complaint about this figure is that it's so smooth over here at the top, and then the legs are just kind of wrinkly. I understand that these are the legs that they've used for plentiful of Captain Americas throughout the years, but you could have at least made it smoother. I understand that the mold would have been a little bit different, but come on, guys. You guys made this completely smooth. I understand this is probably from another figure, but it's whatever. You could have smoothed out the legs. Come on. It's my only complaint about this figure, really. Of course, double jointed knees that actually don't look bad whatsoever. And then the foot hinge going forward this far, and then backwards this far. And of course, you can pivot to the sides, which is awesome. Yeah, pretty good. Honestly, a little bit better range of articulation than Venom in some instances. Not everywhere, but in some. Especially with those butterfly joints. Now let's move on to the accessories, because these guys, they don't come with as many accessories as the previous ones that we've taken a look at. But let's just look at them. As far as accessories go, we don't have much. Captain America comes with his basic stuff. He does come with an extra additional head. That is a shouting head. Granted, if you really get close up, especially with the camera here, it does not look that good because of all the dot printing and everything. But in person, it's not that noticeable. It is still very apparent, but it's not, it's like, not as, it's really bad. It's kind of bad with the dot printing. They did a lot to kind of showcase that it's like facial hair for some reason, or even just like shadows, and it did not work. Their dot printing on the faces has been really good lately, but I think this one is a bit of a miss. But it really is only going to be noticeable if you get up close, of course. So it's a very minor nitpick for this head sculpt. The other one, not so bad. It actually looks perfectly fine from afar, especially from the distance that I'm here right now. But this one, I don't know. It's a little bit odd. We do have the classic Captain America shield, which looks absolutely fantastic. I love the bright red. I don't like the dull red that they do for a lot of figures, especially Captain America's. We have a thumbs up, sort of like pose emote that he does. And then, which looks really good. And then we have the shield clash that you can attach the shield to. At least, I'm guessing that it's... So, yeah, it's a weird accessory. Still cool. I like it. It looks nice, too. Especially with the translucent C. For Venom, we don't have much. We have a nice sculpted Venom and Eddie figure, or head sculpt right here. It looks beautiful, by the way. But again, that dot printing, it works a little bit better on Eddie because he is kind of like tired. He looks tired in his actual head sculpt. But it is a beautiful, beautiful head sculpt that they added here. And we have the claw hands, of course, that are grabbing Spider-Man or something, or just grabbing in general. So, well, Venom fell. So, that's going to lead me into my final thoughts. This definitely is a longer video than I expected it to be, but these figures are great. Granted, Venom does have a lot of QC issues from what I've had to experience with, especially with the paint and also the plastic quality. That is unfortunate. Captain America, on the other hand, is really good. I actually think he's one of the better ones from the wave so far, and he's probably my number 2 right now. Number 1 being Psylocke, although she does have her QC issues, she's still really good, a brand new mold, that sort of stuff. Her being first, Captain America being second, and then War Machine being third, Thanos fourth, that sort of stuff. Venom is probably the lowest one currently because of, again, his QC issues. I don't know why I'm like just dragging this video. As an overall score, I'm going to give this set an 8 out of 10. Captain America really does bring it up a lot, and Venom does bring it down a lot, unfortunately. This could have been higher, but Venom kind of missed the mark. But besides that, that's pretty much all the time I have for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think about this 2-pack of Gamerverse figures. But besides that, like and subscribe and all that sort of jazz, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.